Welcome to Ask an Expert, where our technical product experts answer questions from our customers. Hello, this is John Appleson, Marketing Manager from Pepperl+Fuchs. So welcome, Tony, and thanks for being here.
Hi, John, and thanks for asking me.
Tony, our first question comes from a customer that already has one of our inductive sensors, the MBV2-8GM25-E2-V3. He's looking for a sensor that needs to be 4 or 6 millimeters in diameter with a threaded housing and a connector no bigger than the sensor. What can you suggest?
Well, the NBB 1.5-5GM25-E2-V3 is the best match for the customer requirements. It has a 5 millimeter diameter and a 1.5 millimeter sensing range. Note that the customer requested a connector no larger than the diameter of the sensor. However, the V3 connector, also referred to as M8 due to its 8 millimeter diameter connector, is the smallest standard connector on the cylindrical sensors. The customer also has the option to use the cable version of this sensor if the connector size is a critical issue.
This customer has an automotive parts application and would like to use our SJ30-A-6M inductive slot sensor. He wants to sense the presence of a screw while a part is sitting on a nest. The screw will always be in the same place and is approximately 1 inch long with a diameter of 3/8 of an inch. Tony, will this slot sensor detect the screw?
I would not recommend using the SJ30-A-6M sensor to reliably detect this target due to the large size of the sensor's magnetic field relative to the small diameter of the target. The SJ15-A-5M is a better option due to its smaller dimensions. The SJ10-E could also be used, but the 10 millimeter width of the sensor slot is only slightly wider than the 9.2 millimeter diameter of the target. So to ensure that the sensor does not get damaged, care must be taken to guarantee the target is always in the same position.
This next customer needs an inductive sensor with safety functions such as 2 normally closed contacts. He wants to use the sensor in a safety integrity level 3, a SIL 3 environment. Tony, what would you recommend?
The NJ10-30GK-SN is an example of our safety inductive that can be used in a SIL 3 environment, but it does not provide dual contacts. The outputs you want are available if you use this sensor with the Pepperl+Fuchs SH series switch isolator KFD2-SH-EX1. This isolator not only provides the safety function, but also provides intrinsic safety.
A customer is wondering if the UB200-12GM-E5-V1 requires a 10-volt power source, or if you can use a 5-volt power source, for example, a microcontroller. What's the answer here, Tony?
No, you cannot use the 5-volt output from a microcontroller to power this sensor. The standard operating voltage of our DC sensors is 10 to 30 volts DC, including the sensor the customer wants to use.
Our last question for today deals with maintaining the time settings on an identification system in the event of a power loss. Every time the line is down for maintenance, the customer states that the employees need to power off the entire line, and every single time the camera is off, they need to refresh the OIT system time. Is there anything they can do to avoid this so that the camera keeps the time settings even when there's been a loss of power?
The options for the customer are limited to either having the OIT on a separate supply that you never power off, or setting up an NTP time server from which the OIT could access the time on startup.
Well, that concludes this segment of Ask an Expert. I want to thank Tony for joining me today and thank our audience as well. For additional information, here are 5 easy ways to connect with us.